This is my cat Mufasa. And this is my mom's cat, Minnie May. And little did they know that they were about to go on the adventure of a lifetime. Or so we thought. This is a story about probably the most hellish experience I have ever had traveling, and that is getting my cats from the United States down here to Koh Samui. So we've been living here in Thailand for about 3 years now, my whole family, and these cats have been stuck back in the United States. So I finally made a deal with my mom. I said, Mom, I will do all of the paperwork. All I need you to do is to do the legwork. So she flew back to the United States. We had a lot of vet appointments we had to take them to. We had a lot of stamps that we had to get through Thai immigration. We had to get stamps from the USDA. But as soon as we got all of that approved, we believed that the nightmare was over. Yeah, fat chance of that. And I'm talking bad stuff happened, right? But we'll get into that in just a little bit. So to start the story, my brother and we needed to go up to Bangkok to meet with my mom because she could only fly the cats to Bangkok. So we got onto a ferry in Lipa Noi, and then we took that ferry to Don Sak, got on a bus from Don Sak, we came all the way to Surat Thani train station, and then we took some really luxe overnight sleeper cabins on a train that went all the way up to Bangkok. And we had a lot of fun when we were in Bangkok too, you know? Went shopping, had the Bangkok experience, seen a lot of really cool places, but then it was time to meet my mom at the airport. So we had to meet up with my mom a little later than she was scheduled because they had an extra long layover in Turkey. But we finally meet up with my mom, and she is running late for her connecting flight to Koh Samui. So she pretty much just shoves the case in my face, and the cats were a mess. I'm talking the cage. If you got like 3 feet from it, it smelled putrid. Poop, pee. The cats are drenched in puke, like all the way up to their chests, but I just managed to get them into a handicap bathroom, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get you guys cleaned up. So the handicap bathroom was really nice. I could close the door, there was a little changing station I sat the cage on, and I pulled Mufasa out first, then I pulled Minnie out and I sat her on the floor while I was trying to wash Mufasa in the sink. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. But then when it was Minnie's turn to bathe, I started looking around and I'm like, where did she go? Minnie had found a little access panel, and she had climbed into the wall in an airport. And at the same time I'm trying to wrestle her out from inside the wall, I start hearing walkie-talkies outside of the bathroom. That's right, there were about 6 to 8 cops outside of the bathroom wondering what the heck I was doing in there. I mean, I've been sitting in that bathroom for like 15-20 minutes, lots of loud noises. The cats are hissing at me, I'm hissing at the cats. Everything's a nightmare and it smells awful. But I finally managed to just get them semi taken care of, and I knew that there was no way that a taxi would have taken us unless we did at the airport. So I was very relieved when we managed to find a taxi that would actually take us to the train station. So it had been a nightmare, but by this point we were thinking, okay, the nightmare's over, we can go to the train station. We have like 4 or 5 hours to just like chill out. So we get to the train station and we're just having a heyday. We're like, hey, we got these fancy sleeper cabins. We got 4 or 5 hours. We ordered food for ourselves. We ordered cat food. We cleaned out the cage completely. It was really nice, honestly. But here's where the real crazy part happened. So we get up to where we're supposed to hand our ticket over as we're boarding the train. And I hand the ticket to the guy, and the guy looks at me and he says, "This is for tomorrow." And once again, this wouldn't have been a huge deal if it was just me and Jace, but the problem is you cannot find a pet-friendly hotel at like 8 o'clock at night. So he and I are sprinting for the ticket counter. We are just hoping and praying that there is something left. And we talked to the ticket people, and we just barely managed to get some of the last 4th-class tickets for the train to Surat Thani. So we get onto the train and we go to sit in our seats. The seats were rock solid, man. I'm talking hard. And we were packed like sardines. Like, it was like Jace and I both had our elbows right up against each other, and we're just sitting like this the whole trip. And we put the cat cage in the overhead compartment above my head. But the problem was that the cats had a water dish in the cage, and every time we hit a bump, water would rain down on my head as I was trying to sleep. Yeah, sleep wasn't happening on this carriage. And then I look over at Jace and I look behind me and then I see this big burly security guard. Now this guy, I don't know if you get medals or whatnot for being a trained security guard, but this guy was fully decked out. He had all sorts of medals and stuff, and he's walking down with his top hat on, and he just looks mean as nails, you know, and he's like twice the size of me, and he starts walking from row to row, checking for tickets. So I pull my ticket out, and I'm ready to hand him my ticket, and then Jace looks over at me, and he says, "I don't have my ticket." And I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have your ticket?" And then he's like, "I can't find it. I don't know where it is." So he starts checking this pocket, and he's looking through his bag, and he's checking all over the place. Can't find his ticket anywhere. And then I said, "What about in that zipper pocket?" He checks the front zipper, pulls out this crinkled up ticket right as the security guard comes up to our row. So I was like, thank God, take our tickets, stamp them. I want to be done with this trip. I'm over with it. But once again, the nightmare had not even started. So we're sitting on the train, and it's kind of cool, actually. There's a lot of people that are just laying down on the floors, you know, they're just relaxing. There's this cute little girl across from us. There's this really nice Thai guy right across from me, and just, you know, the most giddy, happy guy ever. He keeps ordering these food from all these market vendors that would come through about every hour, and he's like picking up the food with the chopsticks and trying to feed me with it and stuff. But the point was, nicest guy on the planet. And that's why this next part was so hard. So we finally arrived at Surat Thani. Jace's butt hurts, my butt hurts, my back hurts, Jace's back is in utter pain. So we finally stand up, we're like, thank God we're here. And Jace says to me, "Noah, I need you to grab the cats. I'm gonna go get the luggage. I'll meet you off of the train." I said, okay, no problem. So Jay starts walking down the hall to get our luggage, and I reach up and I grab the cat cage. So I pull on the cat cage, but it's a little bit wedged in there, and so I give it a little yank, and then the whole cage falls apart. And when I say it falls apart, I'm talking poop, pee, cat food, water. It spills all over the nice guy right across from me, that guy. And I just feel mortified, but at the same time, I look down and Minnie is gone. So I look down at Jace to see if Jace is still on the cabin, and he's all the way at the end. And then I start seeing all these Thai people pop up row by row. And I kid you not, they were screaming, they were pointing, they were spilling their drinks and their food. It was utter, complete chaos. And I said, Jace, Minnie got out. And he's looking all over the place for Minnie, and I managed to scoop up Mufasa in my arms because I don't want to lose two cats. And then Jace, I yell down to him, he yells back, "Where did she go?" So I run down there, and we're both on our hands and knees. We're looking all around. We can't find Minnie. And guys, Minnie is a really tiny, one-eyed puffball from America. A Thai train yard central hub station with killer junkyard dogs and all sorts of trouble that she could get into. I think that a rat in Thailand could kill that cat. So Jace is still down on his hands and knees. We're looking all over. The security guard is looking at me, just shaking his head like, "You dumb frickin' foreigners, get off my train." And what was supposed to be a 30-second stop had turned into a 5-minute stop as me and Jace, awkwardly, as the only foreigners on the car, are looking for our cat. And then finally, Jace bends down and he sees Minnie back in this tiny little corner underneath these 4 old Thai ladies. Now Jace gets down and he reaches way back, and he said that the only way he could reach her was by pinching just a tiny part of the harness that, thank God, we had put on her. So he pulls her out, and I'm down there with him, and I'm like, oh, thank God we got both the cats. Okay, let's get off the train. So I turn around and I go back to my seat to get what remains of the cat cage, and that super nice Thai guy is sitting there cleaning all of it up with his hands. I felt so bad for this guy, but at this point, I just needed to get my stuff and get off that train because we'd held it up for so long as it was. So I grabbed it and then we got off the train, then we got onto our bus, We got onto the ferry, we got onto another bus, and we finally got back. Was the nightmare over? For Chase, it was over. For Mom, it was over. They were both sleeping soundly in their beds while I had two pissed, really upset cats that didn't even have a litter box. So I'm back home finally, and I'm trying to get these cats settled in, and I realize, oh my gosh, we don't have a litter box for them. I gotta run down to the store. And I look over at Minnie May, and she gives me eye contact, and she pees all over my nice couch. So I had to buy a brand new $800 couch to replace it. And that's the end of the worst nightmare I have experienced. Guys, we're gonna be making a ton more videos, and I really appreciate you liking and hitting that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the next videos that we got coming. We got a lot more funny stuff coming for you. So thank you guys for listening to my crazy ramblings and my crazy story, and I hope that you guys have a blessed day.